Good morning and welcome to Edgewater Ranzal's webinar series. Today's webinar offers insight into and highlights the benefits of FDMEE, and it is hosted by Wayne Paffhausen. Our webinar series targets specific customer interests related to business analytics solutions that include Oracle Hyperion Enterprise Performance Management, Business Intelligence, and Big Data. So we'd like you to email us at seminars@ranzal.com with topics that you'd like to see covered. During the presentation, we encourage you to submit questions in the right-hand panel on your screen, and we will do our best to respond at the end of the presentation. Edgewater Ranzal provides holistic business analytics solutions that help organizations to define, measure, and innovate their business, provide a clear vision, and drive business value. We have resources and clients located throughout the United States, Canada, and Europe. Our team of over 200 employees has years of industry-specific experience and has earned numerous and varied software certifications. Services we provide support all facets of Oracle Enterprise Performance Management, Business Intelligence, and Big Data Solution Delivery, including consolidation and reporting with the Financial Close Suite, Enterprise Planning, Profitability and Cost Management, and Business Intelligence Applications and Technology. And we offer supporting services for infrastructure, data services and integration, training and support services, and project management. For additional details about Edgewater Ranzal, visit our website, www.ranzal.com. Edgewater Ranzal celebrated 20 years this year as a leading business analytics service provider and was recently recognized by CIO Review magazine as one of the 100 most promising big data solution providers. Ranzal also recently received the 2016 Partner Achievement Award for Outstanding Success in the category of Big Data. For the third year in a row, Edgewater Ranzal has been recognized by the Commonwealth Institute and More Research as the 5th largest woman-led business in Florida and has ranked in the top 10 for each of the last 5 years. Finally, Edgewater Ranzal's recent acquisitions of M2 Dynamics and Chicago-based Branchbird, both Oracle partners, have facilitated Ranzal's expansion of business analytics solutions consultancy services in the West Coast and southern regions of the United States, and big data, data discovery solutions to complement the EPM BI suite offerings. Today's presenter is Wayne Paffhausen. Originally from the Detroit area in Michigan, Wayne is based out of Atlanta and has been in the EPM industry for over 11 years, beginning with the original founding company, Upstream Software, after which he transitioned into Hyperion and later Oracle. In 2010, Wayne joined Edgewater Ranzal and is now the product manager of the integration practice, where he remains focused on specific strategies that raise the bar for implementations, product knowledge, and awareness, as well as helping the product to evolve with Oracle development and product management. With 3 certifications in Oracle Database, a certification in Hyperion Financial Management, and an EPCRS certification, Wayne has led, managed, and designed a number of implementations, including multi-product implementations, during his tenure with Edgewater Ranzal. Industries for which he has been involved in implementations include oil and gas, manufacturing, retail, and medical. Wayne, I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you. A brief history of our practice biography. In 2013, integration practice was formed in Edgewater Ranzal. We formed our own practice under the leadership of Tony Scalise, our practice director, and Oracle Ace, who is also the author of a book available on Amazon called The Definitive Guide to Oracle FDMEE. Within the management tier of the FDMEE software within the integration practice, we have Seema Shah, who is our practice manager, and myself. Earlier this year in 2016, we incorporated DRM into our integration practice, which is led by Patrick Lehner as the product manager and Al Moreno as the practice manager. All team members in our practice are solely dedicated and focused to FDM or FDMEE, ODI, and DRM-DRG. Certifications of our team members include database certifications, product certifications such as HFM and S-Basin planning. During today's webinar, we'll discuss a brief overview of the FDMEE software, a parity between on-premise and cloud, FDMEE versus other ETLs or ELTs, future FDM enhancements, the FDMEE and DRM mapping abilities, upgrade conversion reminder from my last webinar, and additional future product roadmap. At the very end, we'll open the bridge for questions. Now let's get started with a brief product overview and history of the FDMEE. FDMEE represents the name Financial Data Quality Management Enterprise Edition, and it's a merger of the FDM Classic and ERPi application. ERPi was the initial release in 11.113 of late 2009, and then joined together with the product called FDMEE in April of 2013 in the first release of 11.123. Why this is important is because FDM Classic, formerly known as FDM, is no longer available in 11.124. You only have the hybrid application called FDMEE. If you own FDM, you own FDMEE. Adapter licensing is the same. You can purchase it just for HFM, the adapter suite, which is all the products, and also the source adapter for SAP. FDM also was introduced into the cloud starting in 2015 with the 11.124 release. Now, speaking of the cloud, let's go to some parity concepts between FDMEE on-premise and in the cloud. The matrix below outlines the cloud services offerings with data management. This table shows data management, which is the FDMEE available in the cloud, and the products that it currently functions with. There's PBCS, ePBCS, FCCS, and ARCS. Recently, Oracle has also just released PCMCS, which will also have a data management component, and future cloud management application called TRCS for tax reporting. The hybrid column in this chart shows what FDM on-premise can connect to. So currently, FDMEE in your environment can connect to PBCS and ePBCS. With a patch that's coming out, according to Oracle, this calendar year, .210 will also provide integration into FCCS and PCMCS. Brief reminder of all the on-premise source systems that FDMEE can integrate with. We have file-based loads, both Excel and text file available. We also have database views and tables via the functionality called Universal Data Adapter, which we'll get into later, which allows connectivity of the software into SQL Server, MySQL, Teradata, DB2, and Oracle databases. Database SQL via scripting of the Open Interface Adapter. eBusiness Suite R12 and 11i, and PeopleSoft 9, as well as Fusion Cloud applications mentioned earlier, JD Edwards, Enterprise One General Ledger, and SAP, both the ERP Financial and the Business Warehouse. On-premise target systems that FDMEE can load to are custom applications, both flat file and database tables, Oracle Hyperion Planning, Oracle S-Base, Profitability and Cost Management, Financial Management, Account Reconciliation Manager, and specific cloud applications, again, which is PBCS, ePBCS currently, and then with a patch coming out in the future, SCCS and PCMCS. Here's a quick table that describes the parity between FDMEE on-premise and FDMEE in the cloud. It's important to note that currently the cloud version seems to be a little light in the second column. The FDMEE on-premise is what we at Ranzal consider the full-fledged version of FDMEE. As they port functionality into the cloud, these functions will become available. FDMEE versus other ETLs or ELTs. So we've talked about this before. In standard applications, if you design an ETL, they're very cumbersome, either chart, graphic driven, and they're very object oriented, which is great for IT individuals, but sometimes not so great for finance individuals. They require complex building of workflows. The examples below with Oracle ODI requires additional configuration and adapters. There's generally limited connectivity into the Hyperion suite. And they require heavy script-based requirements or IT-driven via like a developer-style interface. FDM provides a graphical interface for end-user experience. It's built into the current Hyperion workspace for a centralized access portal. It's built into Hyperion shared services for central access control and provisioning. You're also able within the FDMEE product for audit and reporting capabilities create custom reports. And within the actual software itself, through the fish, you can control the quality of your data and review it with reports and prompts. As discussed earlier, it's also customizable for loading into optional other Hyperion products and or custom applications. And the list goes on. One of the questions we've been receiving lately is a parody of what about ODI, as ODI is the back-end mechanism that performs the ELT or ETL movements of FDM. In the EPM suite, when it's purchased, you have a limited use license that allows limited functionality of ODI. Within the guidelines described in this chart and also available at the EPM licensing document provided by Oracle, it will outline what you can and cannot use the application for. In general, as the rule of thumb, if you do not own a full license of ODI, customizations generally are not allowed. Now let's talk about some FDMEE enhancements from the last time I performed a webinar to today. Currently, to bring Parity up to speed, FDMEE developers have provided map monitor reports, which will outline mapping changes within your application, which is generally crucial for audit capabilities. The map monitor report can be run by user with a specific username or by location to see all the reports, to see all the map changes in one report. It was introduced in patch set 100, which adds closer parity to the original FDM Classic software. And it's able to be turned on and off via the system settings. Another enhancement that was made in the application is data synchronization. Within FDMEE, you now have the ability for target systems to also be considered source systems. So you can take data out of financial management and tax applications and push it into your S-Base or planning application. Vice versa, once the budget and planning information has been completed in planning, you're also allowed to take that and push it back into Hyperion Financial Management. It also allows EPM to ERP data synchronization, which means you can take actual or budget data from planning and push them back into eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft. This was introduced in patch set 100 and is currently the focus for FDMEE, as in replacing the EPMA data sync capabilities from the EPMA application. Other FDMEE enhancements noted is the Universal Data Adapter. What this provides is the removal of complex scripting via SQL or Jython to get access to your data. Once configured correctly, the Universal Data Adapter treats database views and tables as files. It allows, in essence, it allows for a graphical import format and brings all all the columns into the import format builder. There's no complicated SQL to write or maintain, and it also leverages your period mappings during the data export or import into FDM. The supported multiple technologies are listed below, which is Oracle, Teradata, MySQL, Microsoft SQL, and DB2. It's as simple as setting up a source adapter and pointing it to a table, and then the columns come into the application to be used for the import format builder. This was introduced in patch set 100. It's also key to note that the Universal Data Adapter, since it's built into the ODI technologies, does not store the script or connection details in clear text, which is a big win for audit. The target application options have also been introduced to the data load rules. What does this mean? Now, this means that each data load rule can load with different or varying settings for the single target application. Differences between the global, which are set up when you register the application, are highlighted in yellow. This adds additional functional parity to FDM Classic, which was considered normally adapters by location. This was also introduced in patch set 100. Another great enhancement to the FDMEE application has been the Excel interface. Now you can export tables and grids within the FDMEE software to Excel. Much like FDM Classic, these grids come out in a pre-formatted structure that allow easy editing and then re-uploading into the application. Once the modifications have been made to Excel, you come back to this grid and you choose Upload. This brings the parity back to FDM Classic, where every grid had an option to export to Excel. This was also introduced in patch set 100. FDM also provides a parity enhancement to the EPM Cloud integration. It can be used as a primary gateway to integrate on-premise GLs with applications in the cloud. It allows EPM customers to introduce cloud applications into their EPM portfolio slowly over time, and also allows you to synchronize the data between an on-premise installation, let's say of HFM, and a cloud-based version of PBCS. This was recently introduced in patch set 200, with continual growth and functionality being introduced in patch set 210. Also within the patch set 200 came the option for DRM integration. You can export dimensions and hierarchies from the ERP system to data relationship management from PeopleSoft and eBusiness Suite, and then also import the metadata then into DRM based on the set of rules and export. The import data mappings into DRM allows the use of DRM as a central stop for your metadata management. After the settings have been configured in DRM and then integration complete, DRM provides an explicit list of maps back to FDMEE for your target location. The DRM options are now available when you go to register specific target applications. This functionality was introduced in patch set 200 of FDMEE with patch set 340 of DRM. We'll go over this in more detail later. And here's just another screen of the Oracle DRM FDM solution of how items change based on the export metadata routines brought in for DRM and FDMEE. Now we'll go into the FDMEE DRM mapping. This will quickly outline how Ranzal, our FDMEE and DRM mapping strategy, outperforms Oracle. As a quick parity check between the two, since it was just released, Oracle has very limited functionality in how their mapping solution works with DRM. The Ranzal solution has been around for quite a few years with proven success and track records at multiple clients in multiple industries. It also has the ability to facilitate easier integrations of mergers and acquisitions within your business unit. One of the also key important factors of the Ranzal solution versus Oracle is leveraging what we call a change data capture process, which tells you in DRM when new metadata members have been created. This is crucial if you're going to also implement a data governance component of DRM. Regardless of the integration method, the usefulness of the mapping is largely dependent on your DRM implementation. As we all know, nothing is always quite just plug and play. The Oracle built-in highlights rigid specific use cases, but also allows you to create SRs in case there's problems or need future assistance. The Ranzal custom solution takes a holistic look at your DRM implementation and is customized to match and fit accordingly within your DRM structure. Our custom solution methodology ensures that all aspects are accounted for within the mapping. As an example, I know I blurred out some of this data because it was client specific. If you look on the lower right-hand side, those are our attribute, our DRM properties set up to provide mapping to FDMEE. Now I'd like to take a moment to remind everyone of the upgrade and conversion process. The Oracle utility does not provide enough. It is purely a lift and shift between Classic and FDMEE. Any bad habits contained in FDM Classic will be brought forward. It does not convert scripts between the scripting languages of Visual Basic and Jython. It also does not convert any custom reports that may have been built into your application. Migration to FDMEE is relatively easy with Ranzal and our investigative eye. We take your applications and perform an in-depth review. During that time, we clearly know what scripts will need to be converted, what locations and metadata items you have that will need to be converted, and any custom report. The information is then provided to you as a rationalization for an inventory to make sure that your new application being built in FDMEE is exactly as you need it to be. We have proven many proven upgrades with this strategy, and it's very successful in making sure that your applications perform at their top effectiveness. Now for some future roadmap information, which I must remind you comes directly from Oracle, so we have to have a safe harbor statement. Basically, any information contained in this slide afterwards is not guaranteed. The moment Oracle considers it guaranteed is when it hits the product shelf and is available for download. So looking into the future, a recent update that was actually posted a couple weeks ago prior to this webinar being delivered was in the cloud, you can now use the data management application to load textual data, which is like smart lists, text, dates, etc., into planning. The near roadmap for the cloud includes location security, check report and integrations to FCCS, integrations for PCMCS, which is a new cloud offering that has just been released by Oracle, and enhanced Fusion GL cloud integration, including into the Fusion GL subledger, and new REST APIs, which is the method of communicating with the applications in the cloud. All of the above is slated for the fall calendar year for patch set 210 for the on-premise version of FDMEE. Future integration features will include GL cloud metadata and subledger integration, metadata from flat files, updated scripting via the Groovy scripting, SAP HANA integration, journal loadings for ARCS and PCMCS, new functional usability features, such as copy artifact options. So if you have many locations or data load rules which have the same settings, you can now copy between the artifacts. A location hierarchy or in folder management, something that was lost in the FDMEE but was available in FDM Classic by being able to structurally organize your locations. Native email notifications to be configured in the product without having to do custom solutions. Enhanced cloud integrations. As I mentioned earlier, 2 new cloud integrations will be released in the next patch set. An enhanced batch automation update to bring greater functionality and features to the batch automation approach. Additional future features will include enhanced data load rule scheduling for more granular consistency. They also will remove the data load rule dependency on the category. FDMEE reports can now be saved as a comma-separated value file. The ability to run business rules and planning. Right now, we can only execute calc scripts. Parent and shared mapping by dimension is crucial. Currently, right now, in most implementations, as an example, your HFM metadata may not exactly match the dimensionality of your planning metadata. As a result, the addition of one extra dimension will not allow you to use parent or shared mapping anymore. An example, in planning, you might have a dimension called version, where in HFM you don't. By even the introduction of this one additional dimension of difference, you can no longer share mapping. But now in the future, when an update comes down, you'll be able to share specific dimensions across all applications. Now when you go to delete a location in FDMEE, it'll also delete and scrub the application and delete all relevant content, much to what happens in FDM Classic today. All fields for mapping will be increased to 80 characters. This is to bring the software in alignment with the target application allotment. In Essbase, you can have member names of 80 characters. Same in HFM. So now, with this increase being performed, that brings all the products into alignment. And system variable additional support for year, period, and scenarios, so they can be used in additional scripting or other aspects of the application. And enhanced security and enhanced reporting capabilities around security. Mostly in the next release that I'm looking forward to are some GUI enhancements. There's going to be enhanced details around the processing screen, so also including the process detail screen. One thing that is crucial and is a big win is going to be persistent grid. Right now, when you sign into the FDMEE application, your grid settings are lost. Generally, when you flip between screens, actually. Now, whatever you set as the end user as your grid settings are consistent and maintained even though you may log out. So you can now set your grids in your view up to the way you want to see it. Currently, when you go to the FDMEE mapping screen, it'll show you the ins, the betweens, the likes, and the explicits, but it neglected to show you multidimensionals. So now they will incorporate that into the display of the FDM mapping as well. And they'll also bring some additional updates to the import format screen of the application. At this time, I'd like to open up the call for the remainder of the time for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thanks, Wayne. Let me see what we have here. Give me one sec. Okay, First question I see here, what are the main differences between SQL integrations between OIA and the UDA?
That's a great question. There's many differences between the two, but the results are the same. The main difference is that the Open Interface Adapter requires scripting to be created in Jython. It also requires connectivity sets into the data and sometimes stores clear case passwords. This type of design or content is generally more IT driven and not structured for the end user. So the UDA, as mentioned before, allows connectivity directly to tables or views in a database, and it then allows you the GUI import format builder to create the import format for processing of data. And it also then natively uses your period mappings for data extraction, which is a much more streamlined approach for the administration process.
Okay, great. Next question. Can DRM pull metadata from FDMEE since FDMEE owns GL data process?
Currently it can, and we've used that at other implementations greatly. The difference is that the GL data that FDM consumes may have attributes or metadata items stripped out of it, where, example, is it an asset or liability account? What is the hierarchy of that member within the ledger? So certain implementations you can do that, and it's going to have to be evaluated on a use case scenario.
Okay. Next question. How is the workflow of Oracle's FDMEE DRM mapping solution different from Ranzal's?
Our mapping solution is greatly different than Oracle's, and reaching out to Ranzal is the best way to get more details on how it fits in your architecture. One of the main things is that in Oracle's approach, the metadata is all pulled by FDM, with additional rules and artifacts being created within the FDM application. Within our approach, we can automate that metadata. We can also tie that importing of mapping to every data load rule to ensure that we always have the latest mappings contained from DRM. And our DRM architects have also solutioned a process for DRG, and also encompasses that larger scope of auditability and data governance around the metadata. They also have an in-depth knowledge of how to get to what they're looking for within PeopleSoft and EBS to design that appropriately. But again, to find out how it fits, I think the best answer is always to contact us so we can set you up with an in-depth discussion.
Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, and just as a reminder, our contact, you can email us at info@ranzal.com with any questions, and we will get those and then respond to you directly. So something to keep in mind. Let's see if I have any other questions here. Okay, is it possible to push the metadata from DRM to Planning Cloud using FDMEE?
FDMEE does not load the metadata. It only loads the actual data. As I'm not currently the DRM architect or product manager in our group, we'll have to take that question offline and inquire with our DRM experts on the best way of getting your metadata from an on-premise version of FDMEE and into the cloud.
Great. Okay. Another question here. Is the latest version of FDMEE still leveraging ODI 11G? And if so, can I just upgrade ODI to 12C?
Currently, yes, the latest version of FDMEE is using that 11i or 11G for ODI. You cannot upgrade into 12C as the platform and the architecture is completely different at this point in time. It was in discussions with Oracle to have that changed to see what can be done in the future, but right now the platform is designed and structured the way it is.
Excellent. Thank you. See, we have time for more questions. If question always comes in about sharing the slides of today's presentation, and as a reminder, our webinars, a recording of our webinars, are always available on our website. So if you visit our website, you'll be able to see on our webinars page past webinars, and this one will be posted tomorrow. If you'd like a PDF copy of the slides of today's presentation, you can email us and we can provide that to you. Any other questions here? Okay, so here's another one. Using FDMEE, can you map data from SBase into planning?
Yes, that's a very good question. As I previously mentioned earlier in the presentation, FDMEE does have data synchronization capabilities, which are actually quite extensive. The example I provided earlier was between like HFM and SBase, for example, but you can also use it within an actual product category as well. You can take data from SBase and load it into planning, from one SBase application to maybe another SBase application, or even between two HFM applications. Within that world of planning SBase and HFM, FDMEE provides you a multitude of combinations to be able to move your data. And it's actually kind of important because maybe your planning data is at a different level than your SBase data. And so you want to leverage mapping capabilities in the GUI of FDM versus complicated or complex SBase load rules. The data extract also allows you to pull data out at different levels. You can do level 1, level 0, or even alternate hierarchies that you have. The functionality for the data synchronization is actually quite complex, but also very beneficial.
Great, okay. Next question. Without DRM, can we handle metadata using FDMEE 11.1.2.4?
You can create metadata load rules to pull out metadata from EBS and PeopleSoft to load into your SBase or planning applications, your target applications. Just keep in mind that sometimes if the metadata is not correct in the ledger, it doesn't give you the flexibility to actually adjust it. Where with the introduction of DRM and the change data capture, you can actually approve the process and approve the metadata before actual deployment.
Okay, and a follow-up to that, I think, or related to that, what if we don't have EBS?
Currently, the only metadata that's being supported by the FDMEE load rules is from an Oracle-branded ledger.
Okay. Wayne, any insight into what adapter is better to use for pulling data from SAP?
I missed the acronym at the end, sorry.
Oh, SAP, sorry.
Oracle does have SAP adapters for the FDMEE software. So those adapters can be used to pull data either from the business warehouse or from the GL, profit center, or cost center modules as well.
Okay. Okay, here's one. With the multi-dimension mapping feature of FDMEE, can you map target data results from other mapping types as your source data value that would then be mapped to a target value.
Correct. Multi-dimensional maps within FDMEE replace the concept of conditional maps within FDM Classic. So you can map a value, but unfortunately, it's not. You can't map based on a already mapped value. The multi-dimensional mapping only looks at source values to drive your mapping. So you cannot say if the account was mapped, meaning already mapped, then map the custom one this way. Unfortunately, the multi-dimensional only looks at source values. In that instance, it would be best to use the like mapping of FDMEE and the SQL functionality that the like mappings provide.
Excellent. Okay. Can FDMEE behave like an ETL tool to generate a text file from an Oracle table with some transformations?
It can be, but we have to always keep in mind that these explicitly varying requirements sometimes have some caveats. And making a generalization here on the webinar may not always be the best case. While it can, it may not always be the best solution. So without diving into more details, we would be doing a big disservice to you.
Thanks, Wayne. Okay, I don't see anything else coming through, just as a reminder, any additional questions that you have can be emailed to us at info@ranzal.com, and we will respond to you directly. As a reminder again, a recording of this webinar will be available on our website by tomorrow, where you may also find a number of previous webinars posted. We still have a number of webinars before our 2016 program concludes, and they cover a range of both topics and products. So please visit our website to learn more about and register for any of our webinars. Our next webinar is on Tuesday, November 1st, and it covers the various cloud service offerings, explores the various options for integrating data within the Oracle EPM solution, and addresses the pros and cons of the available data integration options, including data management. And finally, it provides a foundational understanding of how cloud services can and should be integrated into the EPM solution architecture. So please visit our website to find a webinar that interests you. Thank you to our audience for joining us and also for sending us your questions. And thanks to Wayne for sharing your knowledge and expertise during this presentation. This concludes today's webinar.